Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into CAEL Live. Today, we're talking about mentorship and guidance. Hi again. If you're new here, CAEL Live is an interactive series where we guide you through your journey to Canada as an international student. We talk about international student life, admissions, and much more. We will also, of course, be talking about the CAEL test. So if you're an international student looking to study in Canada, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as we have new episodes. Today, we're talking to Mary Ross, who is the Registrar at University Canada West. She will be talking to us about mentorship and guidance options that international students like you have as you enter Canada for your international education. Let's go say hello to her. Hi, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Aswati. It's so nice to meet you. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. So as we discussed, we will be talking about mentorship and guidance. But before we begin, Mary, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and UCW?
Yes, so I've been a registrar for a long time. I started out originally in Newfoundland, and I've served at several institutions here in BC and even one in the United States in Arizona. I came to UCW in the fall of 2019 and came to help them rebuild their registrar's office and to really bring the operation of the registrar's office forward for a more sort of technologically advanced setup. So lots of staff development, lots of technology development. And then, it got interrupted, of course, with COVID. We've had some setbacks, but mostly, certainly learned a lot through the work from home period, which we're still in. And it's an exciting, really dynamic, growing university. And my first time working in a private institution. And that's one of the main reasons that I came, was to do something really different. And we're largely an international university in the core of Vancouver. So a very exciting place to be when students are here, and we love it when they're here. And it's also one of the reasons that I love working in this university, is because we're in the middle of the corporate world, and watching students be able to experience that is a really key facet of UCW.
Thank you for sharing. And you did mention that UCW is popular. It's a popular university. What are some of the more popular international communities that make up UCW students?
Okay, great, thank you. We have, our two biggest countries are India and Iran, but we have been working really hard at diversifying our, nationalities that we bring to UCW. We currently recruit from about 90 countries. We've had a lot of growth in Latin America, Southeast Asia, across Europe. So it is growing, definitely. And we are, as I said, primarily international, but we are focusing as well on our domestic growth, because we want to have a truly internationalized institution where students who come from all these countries, when they arrive here, are able to work with and learn with students who've grown up in Canada as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. We ask this a lot to our guests, but from your point of view, what draws international students to Canada?
Okay, to Canada. Well, I'll do it two parts, because I think UCW has become a very international brand. We are owned by Global University Systems out of the UK, and I think that our presence internationally has certainly been accentuated through our collaboration with our guest owners and partners. And we recruit a lot of our students come into our Masters of Business MBA program, and and so that's a big feature. That so many students can come here for that MBA experience. When I look at Canada, I think Canada is always a desired destination for our international students. And I think since the pandemic, that has become even more so. It's a country that demonstrates, fairness, openness, welcomes students. I hear again and again when students are applying to come to UCW, how much they're in love with the lifestyle and the opportunities that Canada can give them. Many of our students, they have their postgraduate work here, and many of them stay, and it's an opportunity for them, and it's an opportunity for their families as well. And that Canada is a country that openly welcomes and supports immigrants, and I think that's a big piece. And if I look really particularly at Vancouver, certainly the experience here is very welcoming to our international students, and they they come into a community that supports them and is relevant to them, and I know that helps our students a lot.
That was a wonderful answer. And something that you said kind of piqued my interest. You spoke about post-graduation work options. What are some options that international students who are looking to study in UCW have in terms of work after they graduate?
We have been redeveloping our programs in particular for work experience. So very relevant, career-driven programs. Our MBA has just been revised. New curriculum really focused on students having experience while they're studying. And then also putting them into work experiences and capstone projects towards the end of their program, so that they are ready to step into whatever industry they choose. And the MBA program also has a lot of focus areas in HR, finance, marketing. So they get zoomed in on what their pathway is going to be, both while they're studying and then after they graduate. During the last year and a half, during COVID, we've seen our students struggle to go out and find those opportunities the way they normally would. Certainly that's been an impact. But many of our students as well create their own entrepreneur opportunity. They create their own business. We have a student who when he graduated, he started his own coffee company where he delivers coffee to institutions and businesses. And we drink his coffee every day and he's the provider. And he created that business and has been very successful. He and his wife come on campus and they're all excited because they were able to create this story for themselves of success, and they're role models for other UCW students, and they're right in the mix with them. I have a number of MBA graduates on my team, and their abilities are, even without having had prior experience working in a registrar's office, they came in able to, take up the work and then lead good changes. One in particular, she started out doing filing, and now she's someone who analyzes policy and helps look at procedures. She has that business analytics that really served the registrar's office and helped me a lot as I took on my role here. So the opportunities, I think, are corporately there for our graduates, but we're really developing and we're moving this into our BCom and BA programs as well, that we're preparing students to be self-driven and develop their own opportunities. but also to be ready, to work in the corporate world, if that's their pathway as well. So I think there's a multiplicity of opportunities, and I'm seeing our students, their dreams being realized because of how they're being taught and their experience, and that very hands-on, relevant, technical business training.
Wow, I really enjoyed that answer. I also enjoyed the example you gave me about the person with the family who's serving coffee. So inspiring. Love it. So we're talking about opportunities that UCW is providing to support international students, towards their endeavor. But on the flip side, what is one of the fundamental things that attribute to the success of international students from their end?
I would say I've read hundreds of scholarship application letters, and I would say one of the biggest attributes that I see throughout their, their vision for themselves is that they come from a place of desire, that their families, how they grew up, what they were exposed to, really built in them the desire to dream as big as possible and to go after it. And when I get to graduation day, that's what we hear as well, is this was my dream come true. This year we have grad in July. The valedictorian was previously a lawyer in Portugal, and she came here and did an MBA program. And she was so excited to be the valedictorian. And in her speech, she talks about that building that dream, like doing the tough work, but always knowing what she wanted and keeping her eye on that. And I think that's what international students, they have that passion from, having had to really work at life and never losing their focus on what they wanted. And I think UCW and the privilege of working with so many international students is seeing those dreams being realized, because the whole family is behind them. They're together. This dream is shared. They come to this country with that hope and desire that's generated, the integral experience they've had in their family.
And it's always hard. I was an international student too, and it's always hard to leave behind that kind of support system and come here to another new country and kind of like unlearn and then relearn new things. So in that vein, what are some mentorship opportunities that international students have at UCW?
So we put an enormous focus on student support at UCW. I think every decision that we make is made in reference to the student experience. How will this improve or impact, augment the student experience? And we have a peer mentorship program, first of all, so that students can connect right away to someone who is from their home country, maybe speaks their language, has a lot, can be that mirror of where they're going and help them get there. So, and we've done that, even during the pandemic. We actually hired more of our peer mentors, peer leaders. And so that has proven to be hugely beneficial to students, because, when they're studying virtually as well, they have someone they can connect with and ask questions of. We've built out our academic advising area. That's, I think, continuing to grow. I know we're still hiring. And we also have international advisors that we've hired. So there's tremendous support right away for students to be able to connect with someone who's knows who they are, understands where they're coming from, and can relate to that. I've left my family and all my supports behind, and now I'm here alone, and become a community. Certainly when we're back on campus in the fall, we're really looking forward to those relationships being, even deeper and better. We do a lot of events, cultural events for students, so that we can celebrate Diwali or any other things, events that are really important to them. We host them on campus. In our new campus that we have now at Vancouver House, we have amazing space for students to gather, work together, study, have events. And we will do a lot, of that. I know everyone's really anxious to have those things back, and we've done everything we can virtually, during the pandemic as well. And I think UCW, we look at learning. What supports do they need in learning, such as we're building a learning commons in the library. We have an amazing new library here on campus. Our faculty are really focused on helping students, being, close to students and their experience. So we're all paying a lot of attention to that mentoring role of how do we help students, particularly during COVID. Students have reached out to me over LinkedIn, which I had never had happen before. And, I would talk to them over LinkedIn. I'd answer their questions, set up a virtual call and talk to them. And it became this thing that I said to my husband, I've never been so popular on LinkedIn. And it's such a good thing to think that students feel comfortable to reach out. And others on campus have had, the same experience, that students, will always find a way to be personal with you. And I think we're being personal back. And the pandemic certainly took away that, sort of that stratification of, I'm the registrar, you can't get in to see me. I just became another person right up front you could reach out to. And I think that has been a really good outcome of the past year and a half, is that we've blurred all the lines. It doesn't matter who I am or what my role is. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. And every student who reaches out to me, I get in touch with them, and I know that that's common practice at UCW.
That's actually very reassuring for our international students who are watching, the fact that everything is so open, communication is becoming more and more seamless due to the pandemic. You touched upon the challenges that UCW or just any other, in college and university is facing due to the pandemic. I'm curious to know how UCW has been mitigating those issues and how they're trying to bring in cultural integration.
Yeah, so it's not in my area, but student affairs, they do events every week for students, but they certainly honor all of the, religious and other events that are important to students, and they host those virtually. We've had the challenge of transitioning everything online, classes, communications, everything, going virtual. So, and we've engaged some new platforms to be able to do that better. We've done one convocation online and are about to do our second in July. And we learned a lot from the first one, and into the second one, we're doing some things differently. And part of, we've asked students to participate. We'll have a student doing the national anthem, for instance, and that came from an event that we hold called UCW's Got Talent, which was a lot of fun in person and also fun online as well. Because, we're a business oriented institution, but we still want to have the whole life story as part of their university education, which is, their talents, their interests, their backgrounds, their culture, their food, all of it, be present in while they're here. And so, we look to the students to provide the entertainment for convocation as much as possible to participate with us. So those are some of the examples. And I think, we, like every other institution, overnight had to transition to an online world. And I know we've made huge advancements on the academic side, and faculty have been very flexible and responsive. We had some hills to climb in the beginning with how we proctored exams and things like that, and we took a lot of feedback from our students to make those changes. I mean, they were a part of that, and I think that's what I've seen throughout the pandemic is if we stayed flexible and fluid, we were able to respond really well. And I think we did. I think we would be leaders in that. We also made sure that students had a pathway to UCW, so they could begin, in their home country. Many of our students have started online right where they are in their own country. We, if they didn't have proper internet access, I know we did. In India, we worked with a provider there to improve student access so that they wouldn't, lose a class, and they could be assured that their internet was always functional. And we came to students with, different scholarships and payment plans and ways to finance their education so that they could continue to move forward, because our goal was that we didn't want students to lag behind or not be able to continue their education because they couldn't come to Canada. And that has worked very well for us, and it has been an amazing service and support to our students.
Thank you for that. It's always great to hear the efforts that universities and colleges are taking. It's great. I really like the point about providing more support for students who are unable to access, internet as much as we're able to here. So I have there are two questions left for you. One is, how can international students be empowered to feel confident as they finish their studies at a Canadian post-secondary institution such as University Canada West?
We are designing curriculum to make them, even more career ready than they might have hoped for. Where we have, for instance, in our new campus, it's called the Innovation Lab, and that idea was born from the concept of bringing, the corporate industry world onto campus to be present with faculty and students and create this knowledge network and experience network right on campus, so that students, when they're studying here and when they leave, will carry with them and maybe return to this innovation hub for new ideas, for innovations, for opportunities. And I see that coming as a really key component, both now and in the future. But certainly the new curriculum that we're just launching for MBA is completely designed to allow students to develop themselves for career readiness, and that's I think that's a huge advantage coming out of UCW. We're also really focused on micro-credentialing as a way of the future, and stackable learning, stackable credentials, so that they're not it's not just one thing, but they're constantly building that lifelong learning pathway for themselves. Because we're a part of global university systems, I think our students as well will look at education not just at UCW in the future, but with some of our partner institutions. And that mobility in the global context is a key aspect to our students being able to take what they're doing here, bring it elsewhere, and continue on. So I think that they are, even now, very career ready, but we're certainly, and I think maybe partially because of the pandemic and the global community that we've become, UCW is helping students to, they're the leaders for the future. They're the ones who are going to take us forward, and it's a new dynamic. We'll live and function much more pervasively in a digital context, and UCW is taking that into its curriculum, that digital, technological approach to everything that we're doing. Here on. Hopefully, I haven't gone too far from what you asked me.
No, I think that was great. What is your favorite part about working with international students choosing to study in Canada?
I have to tell you two things. First of all, I work at a university for the first time where the staff and faculty truly reflect our students. So I'm in a very international environment every day. My own staff in the registrar's office, it's very diverse. And as I said, some of them are international students. So the second part is when I think about what makes me happy working with international students is really their stories. I once, early days at UCW, had the opportunity to help a young woman who had gotten into some financial challenges. And, it was a case where she had asked for a refund and hadn't gotten it. And the money meant whether or not she was going to graduate. I won't give you all the details of what happened, but in the end, I was able to help overturn a prior decision, and we were able to help her fund her last term. And all of this was done, email and the phone. I hadn't met the student. And then one day she came on campus and she saw me and she said, "Are you Mary Ross?" And I said, "Yes." And she just threw her arms around me, pre-COVID days, and gave me this big hug to say, "You have made me and my family so happy because, I'm able to finish and that my dream's coming true." And I think that's what I've seen over and over again at UCW is the joy of our students in being here, first of all, of just being in Canada, being surrounded by, other international students, being here in Vancouver. That joy is very tangible. And then their gratitude for the education they receive and the opportunities that come from that. They don't take it for granted. And I love that I get to be around that all the time, and that it's what drives me. It's, when I think of, what's the best part of getting up every day to be a registrar after all these years of doing it, it's that these stories are even more impactful than I've experienced in the past. And I've had a lot of very unique experiences as a registrar, and I'm grateful for all of them. But this go as a registrar in a highly international university is that I'm being taught new reasons why education is the greatest opportunity we're given as humans. and and those are the stories of our students.
I love it. I'm getting goosebumps. Okay, great. Thank you, Mary, for joining us again. Really happy to have you here.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Mary Ross, Registrar at University Canada West. If you have any specific questions for her that you weren't able to ask, please leave it in the comments below and we will try to answer it for you. We also provide CAEL test lessons on a separate playlist. It's called CAEL Prep with Brandy. We drop a lesson every week. Please do check it out. We have some other great news for you. The CAEL test is now available online in Japan, Mexico, Brazil, and Colombia. These 4 locations, along with USA and Canada, make up 6 locations where you can take the CAEL test online at home. Please also note that if you are an international student living abroad or in Canada, you may be eligible for the CAEL scholarship. So if you took the CAEL test in any of our available locations or online after July 2020, or if you're planning to take it within this month, please do check us out. I will link our scholarship page below. If you have any more questions about your eligibility or our deadlines, let me know in the comments below as well. I do want to let you know that the deadline for submitting your applications is July 1st, 2021. So please do submit your applications as soon as possible. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for future videos. But until next time, please stay safe and have a nice weekend. Bye.